Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. I'm trying to frame my videos better so that you will be able to see things more, hear things more clearly. So from now on I won't be walking around doing my intros, I'll be doing them from a static position. So thanks for stopping by. I'm not one to ask people to subscribe or hit the like button or anything like that, but I am going to say this. Alright, today we're going to be working on this yard machine. And if you watch my channel, you know that these are all made in the same factory. They're just painted a different color and they put different stickers on. All these Briggs engines are all the same. The decks might have a little different curve here and there, or a slightly different shape to them or something like that, but they're all the same. So when you work on something, they're pretty much easy across the board. Now this particular one, again, is missing the air cover as normal. These ones usually are. But I did just buy a couple of air covers. They arrived yesterday for another customer. You can see this one over here is missing its air cover also. Pretty standard on these things. And also a failure point. One of the most important things that you can do for any of your is to keep that air cover put on with a filter inside. It sucks dirt, debris, sand in Florida straight. When you're mowing, it blows it up like a dust storm and it sucks it right through that opening, and that is the throat of your carburetor. So that is the easiest way to screw up your machine, by getting dirt inside. The other thing that's going on with this that I can see right off the top is that this cable is very long. It looks like it's stretched out, but it looks new. So I'm wondering if someone put that cable on thinking they were replacing it and put the wrong one on, possibly. So I want to take a look under here and see. Yeah, when I pull it, you can see that lever is moving at least some. So I'll have to see if it's enough. That is just an awful lot of space, so I'll see about adjusting that. But what we know about this is that it just hasn't run in a long time, and we have no idea why. So as always, I'm going to start off with the fart test and see if she'll bark. Now, longtime viewers of the channel know that I don't spend time that I don't have to checking on stuff. You can check the compression, you can check for spark, you can do all kinds of stuff. But because I work on these things so many times a day, all I do is put a little fuel, or in this case some carb cleaner, spray it right inside. Usually it'll start on the third or fourth pull. Let's see if she'll run. Alright, that's what I call barking. And it usually is on the third or fourth pull. Don't ask me why, but it's always the way it is. So we know now that it has spark. We know now that it has a carburetor issue. You saw me check the fuel tank ahead of time, and it does have some fuel in it. If it did not have a carburetor problem, it would have stayed running. So that's the best way to check and narrow down what's going on. And by doing that, it also told me that when I pulled that bail cable, it did pull enough out of the way to disengage and give me my spark back. So I know that even though it looks a little bit long, it's working just fine. So it's going to be the case of pulling the carburetor and giving it a clean. And I know you guys are probably tired of seeing that, so I'm going to do it in a sped up fashion. If you want to see me clean carburetors, especially this one, this is my favorite little plastic carburetor. Literally the last video I posted, I did a full cleaning. They're all the same. You can go back and watch hundreds of my videos and see how to clean the carburetors. This thing is covered in crap. Let's take off carburetor from the gas tank, which is just a matter of this compression spring. When it's really on there, I usually use my pliers, hold the carburetor, and twist before trying to pull it off. That way you won't break anything. And then just rip it off. There's nothing else you can do about it. Now, there wasn't much fuel in there. I'll empty that out here in a couple of minutes. Don't do what I do and use an impact or a drill to take these apart. Let me get a brush to clean that with. Do yourself a favor. Clean off the outside a little bit when it's this dirty before getting started. This is all stuff that you don't want getting inside of the carburetor that you're about to clean. I got a brush, but I did not get a screwdriver. So I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Get my screwdriver. Now, I've shown many times on this channel that you can clean the carburetor, put it all back together, and find out that it still doesn't run, or it's surging. It happens. I don't edit that out because I like for people to see reality, what it actually takes. There's many channels out there that I've seen that show a kind of a half-assed job at cleaning, and then they throw it back together and all of a sudden it runs, and I'm watching them put it back together with dirt in it and whatnot, knowing that there's no way. But they edit it out for speed, and I get that. But I get 20, 30, 40 new subscribers every single day. I just looked at the numbers. I got over 130,000 views in the last month. And I get a lot of new people that have never done this before, that are trying to save some money, trying to bring their machine back to life. And if they watch those videos and they think, oh, that's real easy, I'm going to give it a shot, and then it doesn't work, chances are they'll just stop trying. And I don't want you guys to do that. Now, I sped up the clip of taking this thing apart, but it really only takes about 90 seconds to get it apart. There's only 4 bolts. 2, I believe, 6mm and 2 8mm, or 4 8mm. And then the 8s to take the cover off the top. The gas tank just clips into place. They're real easy. So if you got to take it apart several times. Now, the way I test this is where the fuel goes in. This is your float, and in there is your needle, which when this goes to the up position when your carburetor's full, pushes the needle up in place, stops the fuel from flowing. So to test that, I blow into this. If you're worried about gas, I've been doing this 20 years and I don't have cancer. You can put a straw on it. Anything like that. Don't use a compressor on these, you'll blow stuff out. But I just blow through this, and then I close this a few times and make sure it cuts off the air I'm blowing. And that tells me that my seat, my needle, and my seat are working correctly. If it's not working correctly, even when that goes to the up position, fuel will continue to flow because it's higher in your gas tank than it is in your carburetor. It'll flow through your carburetor, leak out, or leak into your oil. And if you get gasoline in your oil, it cuts it down, makes it watery, won't protect the machine, the machine will overheat and blow up. All over something silly like that. Now there's my float. Needle fell out, of course, as it always does. There's the needle. These carburetors are real basic. I use my finger as a pivot point so that I don't crack anything on the carburetor. It hurts, but it's better than breaking the carburetor. Now on the inside of that, you're not going to be able to see, but there's a bunch of gunk and crap in there. I'm going to take my screwdriver on the center, right here, on the center one. I'm going to get it in there underneath, and I'm going to twist it. I'm not going to push or pry. I'm going to get it in there, and I'm going to twist. And that will start it moving up. And then I can work it off by twisting and pulling without breaking it. These carburetors are $65 a piece these days, and you don't want to break anything. And right here are your main jets. There's 3 of them. You want to go in through here, and you want to also go into your secondary jet, which is right there. I use my welding tip cleaner set. I'm going to Harbor Freight later today because I got to pick up a couple of little things, zip ties and stuff. They have the best price. I don't buy much at Harbor Freight. I'm trying to get a new stand-up tool chest, so I may look at those while I'm there. Been trying to find a used one for months, and I can't find one. And I need a proper tool chest. But I'm going up there, so I'm going to pick up a couple more of these. This one I've had for a couple of years, and I realize I should have more than one. So I'm going to run this through the secondary jet. It was not wanting to go in the first time. This has serrated edges on it, kind of like a file. So I'm just going to kind of pull it in different directions as I pull it out, just to kind of clear that out, make sure that there's no scaling or rust. I say rust, and people in the comments go, there's no rust in there, there's no steel in there. Scaling. But people don't understand what scaling means if they never worked on machines before. All metal will rust in some way, and scaling is what copper and tin does. So I just run that through there a few times, make sure it's clear. I'm going to run this through the 3 main jets in the center, just to make sure that they're clear. Blow that out a little bit. Run it through there. Make sure that's clear. And I'm going to spray it out as soon as I find my spray. Hey guys, where did I put my carb cleaner, huh? Where'd you put my carb cleaner? Ain't this something? I gotta stop the video because I can't find my carb cleaner. There it is. No, I'm not editing it out. Do you have any idea what it takes to sit at the computer and edit a 30-minute video? It takes like 4 hours. So no, I'm not doing that. You want editing? Go to the movie theater. Here we do shit in real time. So now that's cleared out, I should have a towel down here so that I don't get all this dirt back on it, but I have to fix 6 machines today. I'm just extra careful. Now when you put that back on, this one is wide and flat, and it goes in this side. So put that back on the center. Press firm without twisting, because you don't want to break that jet off. Give it a quick spray. These are my favorite ones to work on because they're so simple. There's also 3 ports inside of here. Spray them out. I've seen people use compressed air. I prefer not to use compressed air. It's a little bit strong. And on other carburetors, you can blow seals out and stuff like that. So I choose not to use compressed air. I hit it lightly with a little bit of carb spray, that's all. Inside of here, you'll find the other side of those little jets. Clean that out, spray it all out. Give it a quick wipe. Make sure you didn't miss nothing. Clean up the body. Make sure that your O-ring is still there in place. That's what goes against the body of the motor. Now I'm gonna spray this off. Wipe it off just a little bit. Make sure you get off as much dirt as you can. I see people wearing gloves thinking it's going to protect their skin from a little bit of stuff that they're spraying, or they're afraid they're going to get poisoned or whatever, and that's up to you. I just don't worry about that kind of stuff. There's my needle underneath the bottom port. You can see that where the pin goes in is actually the top portion. These floats hang down off of the top. So you just take your needle, and in there you'll find a little slot. Slide it back in so it's hanging like so. In this case, you put your pin back in first because it has an open top and it just clips in place. I'm going to feed that back into its little hole. I'm going to press this from the center gently, and I'm going to make sure that my pin is back in place on both sides of that, and that is working correctly. We're going to test it again, and we're in good shape. So all that's left now, make sure that your O-ring around your bowl is intact. Just get off as much dirt as you can, because any speck of dirt in here, smaller than a grain of sand, can actually clog your carburetor jet again. So make sure there's nothing in there. Make sure there's nothing on there. Oops. You forgot to tell me to put my jet back in. Now when I put my jets back in, if I put them in correctly, they fall right to the bottom. If I put them in incorrectly, or with dirt on them, you see they won't go all the way to the bottom. It sticks up. Don't try and force it. Just pick it up, turn it around, and it'll fit right in there. Use your thumbs. Hold your fingers under the body of the carburetor and push it down into place. That's it. If you force this plastic, it'll break, and you'll be buying a new carburetor. Where the hell is all this damn dirt coming? Well, I'm sitting on a pile of dirt. So when you put that back on, try putting it in. Don't try forcing it. I've seen people put it part of the way in and then use the screws to squeeze it down. Don't do that, because if this thing gets jammed, and it often does, you'll bust the carburetor bowl. So fit it in all the way before you put the screws back on it. And again, do what I say, not what I do. I'm fixing 6 of these today. I can use my impact wrench because I know how fast to go and exactly how to stop it at the first click. If you use your impact and you do it too hard, or you use your drill and it's set too hard, you'll rip those bolts right out of the plastic, and that is not something that you want to do. So I'm just going to clean this up a bit, reset the camera, and we're going to put it back together in high speed. Now, I don't usually say the dates on my videos because I never know when I'm filming and when I'm actually going to release. But today is 4/20/23, April 20th, 2023. There is an O-ring and a clip, and that goes in to the round spot. That's your carb intake. Make sure the O-ring goes in first, then the clip gets pushed in, and that's what goes on your intake there. The reason I'm bringing up the date today is because Starship launched. Well, I say they launched. They sort of launched. It fired off And it was historic, and I was up this morning at 6 o'clock waiting to see it go, and it did go. I was very happy about that. Now, of course, they had issues and they were expecting issues. Make sure when you put your cover back on, this is your rebreather, that goes in. Your carburetor's pushed all the way in, and this actually has a little nipple on it, so you can push that in place and it'll actually hold. So let me know in the comments, were you up this morning? Did you watch the launch like a lot of the rest of the world did? Did you expect it to blow? Oops, wrong one. Now the silver ones actually connect your filter housing to the carb. These are the smaller of the screws. There's 2 of those. So did you watch the launch? Were you happy? Did you get over emotional? Was it good? What did I do wrong here? Uh-oh. What did I do? What? Oh, put the wrong one in, dumbass. The silver one goes in the front and then underneath of the primer bulb. And it just kind of went in the hole, and I went, uh-oh. That's better. I thoroughly am glad that I was up for the historic launch this morning. And even though it blew up, and we knew it would, it did clear the chopsticks, the tower, the launch pad before they had to take it out. Had it taken out, the launch pad, it would have knocked the program back a couple of years. And they say that it would have blown with the power of 3 Hiroshima bombs, which I understand why they use that as a reference point, but it bothers me to even remember that we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Let me empty out the fuel. So I was very happy that I got to see that. I obviously am in Florida, and it would have been cooler if Starbase was in Florida, because we would have driven over to Cape Canaveral, which isn't that far from my house, to watch it live. But we did not go to Texas. But let me know in the comments if you're a fan of SpaceX, if you're a fan of Starship. Let me know what you thought of the whole thing. What I'm gonna do now, put my top back on. When you put that down, if it does not seat correctly, just yank on the string a little bit. It's usually the reel in there that gets kind of stuck, and it'll drop right in place for you. If you can't get one of the bolts started, try another one. So you work around and find all the holes. That's what she said. These back on. All that's left now, put a little bit of fuel in it and see if she'll run for us. I'll bring you back. Alright, moment of truth. I'd say probably 80% of the time I get it right on the first cleaning, and I've been doing this for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And about 20% of the time I gotta pull the whole thing apart and clean it again. So I'm never surprised either way. But if I gotta pull it apart again, I pull it apart again. Only takes a few minutes, not a big deal. And the second time is usually a lot easier to clean than the first, because most of it's already clean. So let's just see. Boy, I like having this big concrete pad here to work on. Keeps the dust down. say, yeah! He might even say, there's your breakfast. Is that right? Is that what he says? Anyway, I'd call that a win. One dirty carburetor served up clean and ready to rock. Let me try it again. Boy, I love it when that happens. I love it when a plan comes together. So there you have it. Another one back and ready for the battlefield. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We are having a live stream on Saturday at noon because we are about to break 3,000 subscribers. I think we're 40 short of 3,000. So I'm hoping I get those by Saturday morning. We're going to be doing a giveaway, a couple of giveaways actually. So all you have to do is subscribe, hit the like button, and come by the live stream. It's already posted on my channel, so you can go over there and hit the like button ahead of time. I'd sure appreciate it. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining the team, and we'll see you soon.